Perfect. All right. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I hope all is well. My name is Marissa Mack. I'm the chair of the Economic Development and Culture Committee for Community Board 11. Hope everyone is doing good and getting through this week. It's Tuesday. So hopefully you had a good MLK day and did some service out in the community somewhere. We are ready to start. So Angel, if you could advance the slide, that would be great. So before we get started, just a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participant icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function here. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. Board members, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulty you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. Next slide. Okay, so I am calling tonight's meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. Angel, if you could do the roll call, that would be great.
Certainly. Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. Stephanie Arroyo.
Present.
April Autry.
Present.
Adem Briha. Devin Cronshaw.
Present.
Jewel Jones.
And then also with the
Present.
Marissa Mack.
Present.
Giselle Malave. Jennifer Meyer.
Present.
Jessica Morris.
Present, Angel.
Thank you, Giselle. Jessica Morris.
Present.
Robert Perez. Eugene Rodriguez. Vinny Torres. Jenny Tromsky.
Present.
You have quorum.
Great. Thank you. And so if there are no objections, I am going to adopt the agenda. If you have any objections, please raise your hand, committee members. Seeing none, the agenda has been adopted. Giselle and I are both working on minutes, but again, the recordings can be found on YouTube. And so we are moving forward with that. So if there's anything you'd like to refer to or listen to, please feel free to access our meeting through the YouTube channel. Okay, so moving on. Angel, do you want to take the announcement?
Sure. So tomorrow, Wednesday, January 18th at 10 a.m., there will be a hearing on the proliferation of unlicensed smoke shops in New York City, held jointly with the New York City Council Oversight, excuse me, Committee on Council Oversight and Investigations Committees, the Health Committee chaired by Lynn Schulman, and the Committee on Consumer and Worker Protection chaired by Councilmember Marjorie Vasquez. I'll share a link to the calendar entry so that folks that may want to attend can join that. And then secondly, excuse me, I'm having a little trouble with my throat. The New York City Department of Transportation is holding a job fair to fill full-time entry-level engineering positions in all areas of the agency's operations. The fair will be held on Friday, February 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 55 Water Street on the concourse level in the bid room. To attend, please RSVP by January 20th at the following link, HTTP, and I'll put that in the chat as well.
Thank you, Angel. I was also going to say, if there's a flyer for that, I'm sure that'll be circulated on Friday during our weekly email blast.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just wanted to make a note on the on the smoke shop and cannabis topic later on in the agenda, if possible. I would love it if Giselle and Stephanie, if possible, could just maybe talk a little bit about the event that took place recently, kind of highlighting some of the rules and regulations around that, and or information that came out that's pertaining to the neighborhood. So I'll put a pin in that for later on in our meeting. But if there's information that either of you want to share, or any one of the other committee members that are here that also attended the informational session, please feel free to share. So we'll move along with the agenda now. Are there any questions, I guess, on what Angel just presented on? Okay, so in regards to a report from me, I think last meeting I'd spoken to you about, Giselle and I met with Link NYC, about doing a little bit more work with them. They are having a few changes over there, but still we are continuing the conversation. So seeing how we can, do some more advertising of things that are going on within the community through their portals, and also just exploring what the 5G towers mean to our community and to our organization. So we will continue to share as we have more information about our work with Link NYC. Additionally, we are looking to have a virtual event, just talking about some of the areas of the community where there are some positive things going on. We've been speaking with EDC, UMES, hoping that Uptown Grand Central and also Union Settlement may also have some information that they just want to share. It wouldn't be a meeting, but really just more of a share out of some of the positive things that are going on within our community. There have been a number of shootings and stabbings and just negative connotations around our area. And I think it would be helpful just to hear about some of the projects that are coming up and coming down the pipeline for our community that are good, right? So the waterfront, there are going to be revitalizations to the community in other areas too. So it's great to share that out and just let people know that there are good things that are going on within the community as well, altogether. So that is really it right now. Again, I would like for us to talk a little bit about the cannabis space and what that is for our community, and we will talk about that a little bit later. Are there any questions in regards to what was currently mentioned, or anything else that you feel is pertinent to be brought up at this time? Okay, so I am moving our meeting over to Carrie King from Uptown Grand Central. Carrie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's good to see y'all. Happy New Year. I always write out a list of things I want to say, and this list is long, so I'm going to try to talk quickly as usual. But I guess let's start with street cleaning on 125th Street, because that's always a big concern for everybody. So y'all know we still have our street cleaning team. We're still working. They have their storage area for all their supplies when you pass by Park Avenue between 124th and 125th, and you see that sunshine fence. That's where all of our stuff is, and that's where our cleaning team starts their day. They're out there 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's a long day compared to most commercial corridors. And you may remember, thanks to the efforts of this committee, in large part to your chair, we were able to have the City Cleanup Corps last year. It was a COVID recovery program out of the mayor's office, and we got 40 workers paid by the city that were here from October 2019 to October 2020 to June of this past summer. That program ended and we have a new mayor, but we've kept up the line of communication with the mayor's office, and they've changed the program. It has a different name now. It's called Get Stuff Clean under Mayor Adams. But in December, we were notified that we would be receiving, thanks to our advocacy, extra services. So under the mayor's office, there are several different programs. One is run by the Doe Fund. That's Ready, Willing, and Able. You've seen those guys. They wear the blue jackets. And then also under the NYC Economic Development Corporation, they also have an in-house graffiti cleanup team. And so now, thank the Lord, we are getting them on weekdays. So it's not every weekday, but over the course of the week, we have about 30 different people that are now helping us. Doe Fund is 2 days a week and EDC is other days of the week, but it's great. So it just shows this committee wrote letters on our behalf. So I just wanted to report that back and say that the advocacy works, and they heard us, and they said, I said, well, thank you. And why are we getting it? And they're like, because you guys were you were the squeakiest wheel. That's why. So thanks for being squeaky. So hopefully you will see the difference. It's like Sisyphus pushing a big rock up the mountain, trying to keep East 125th clean. So I never claim victory because I don't know we're going to get there. But we're working on it. Also, if you on East 125th Street, you'll see our winter lights, which I am biased, but I fully believe that they're more beautiful than ever before. We always have them, we work with the local small business urban garden center, the garden center that's underneath the Metro North at 116th. And they do the trees. And this year, if we can write a citation to this, to Kevin at Urban Garden Center, he was out there for 3 weeks wrapping the trees. And you can tell because if you see it, like they're wrapped all the way to the upper branches. They're fully done. And I kept texting Dimitri, like, when are the lights going to be done? When are the lights going to be done? But it's because Kevin was out there wrapping. Like he was like, I'm not done yet. Like they're not perfect. So he really did a great job. And the way that when you wrap a tree, it's 2 different permits, it's DOT and parks. And but we're able to keep, when you do a tree, you're able to keep them up till the end of February. So they're going to be lighting East 125th Street to the end of February. With all the darkness and the lack of street light on 125th, it's helpful as a street safety measure as well as a beautification measure. So just know that they will be up for a while. And then I wanted to report on December because, we had a million activities that many of you were at. Of course, the Harlem Night Market, that was 3 different Saturdays. And we had a ton of partners, including Union Settlement. Thank you, Michelle. Union Settlement sponsored the trolley. That was a huge hit. And everybody wanted on that trolley. And of course, EDC, El Museo provided crafts the last weekend, which was a big hit, Ponce Bank, Columbia SBDC. And so lots of different partners. And we're completing a merchant survey report right now to kind of tally the results and find out how we can improve every year. It's hard to La Marqueta is a difficult space to activate. It's really loud. I think I've mentioned before, there's not enough electricity in the building. There's lots of different lots that are not connected in any visual sort of way. So to activate the space fully is a challenge, but I'm happy that we're trying because I think it's giving feedback to EDC as to how the space needs to be improved year after year to make the space fully active and accessible.
I was going to say, I know you're doing your report, Carrie, but just to say that it has been reported to EDC as they're thinking about the viaduct and that whole redoing of that area. That's something that has been mentioned. So
thank you.
It's a great process on that. Yep.
Yeah, and y'all know about the Park Avenue Viaduct project that's going to they have to tear down the viaduct over La Marqueta and rebuild it. And in many ways, that's terrible because it just got redone. But in some ways, if there's an opening for us to get more electricity in the building, find ways to connect the lots in a better, more creative way, it's our opening. So we should continue to do that. And thank you for being a partner on that. And then we had hot chocolate rides, which were every Saturday, riding to different small businesses to sample hot chocolate and highlight the businesses, as well as healthy pathways and safe streets and things like that. And then the grand finale was Make Music New York on the 21st. Jessica Morris, I saw her. She is on the call and was a great help. We did a light walk along the viaduct and then celebrated the light installation that you've probably seen underneath the Metro North between 124th and 125th. There's a canopy of light. And that may just look like a beautiful structure to you, but a lot went into that because we're not allowed to touch the viaduct. I don't know if you guys know that in East Harlem, but we're not allowed to touch the structure. So if you look closely, you'll see that the whole canopy is built. We had to build a substructure. So there's barricades and poles, and we didn't touch the viaduct at all. So it should be a simple thing, right? You just like hang some lights like this, but instead it was an incredibly complex thing. We had to get a structural engineer to evaluate it. We had to get it approved by DOT. But the whole end goal of that is to continue to highlight the needs for more lighting and better sound quality underneath the viaduct, which was great. And MTA came, DOT came, a lot of the agencies came, so they saw in a happy way that this is needed. And okay, then I'm going to segue into next steps, and then my report will be done. That was really good because I don't know if you saw it, last week, Congressman Espaillat paid a visit along with DOT and MTA, the head of construction and development for the 2nd Avenue subway. And they were the point of the walk was to walk the public spaces and see how they need to be improved when the 2nd Avenue subway is built and before then. And they were able to see the lights, and we were able to reiterate that we need more lighting and better sound quality, which I think they digested and took home with them, which was really, really great. So next steps for January, Restaurant Week is starting. So that is starting the 17th. And we have 6 restaurants in East Harlem participating, including Sapporo, Giselle. So definitely patronize Sapporo during Restaurant Week. That's one thing, a way to get involved. Also, we're doing a clothing drive, a winter clothing drive for the asylum seekers at 125th every Wednesday during the farmers market that we have year round. And the first few weeks we've collected bags and bags and bags of winter coats and boots and all sorts of things that the asylum seekers themselves have been passing out. And there was a big event yesterday at Sapporo, thank you, Giselle, where I think about 100 different asylum seekers were served with food and resources, a crib, like I know one person got a crib. So all of that continues. So if you do have winter clothing, good quality winter clothing, clean winter clothing, because these people are arriving with nothing but the clothes on their back. Literally, there was one guy that started going through the bags immediately because he only had what he was wearing. So that continues on Wednesday. And then we're continuing to help LIST, that's the Local Initiative Support Corporation, in getting businesses to become involved on their free online platform of classes. I'll put the link to that in the chat. And they just also, after advocacy, they just added a Spanish platform. So we have been telling them like this thing is great in English, but there's a whole bunch of people in East Harlem that aren't really going to be able to access it. So they just added a Spanish platform. Diana Larrazabal from Aroma de Angel, which is one of our businesses on 116th Street, was one of their advisors on the Spanish platform. So that's super cool. I'll put the link to that in the chat. And then the last bit is we're continuing to work on business improvement district development along East 125th Street. So our council district is the only council district in Manhattan that does not have a business improvement district. And a business improvement district is something, it has to get approved by the city. It has to go through city council. It's kind of like a ULURP. Your council member has to be in support of it, which our council member is. And once you have a business improvement district, then all the property owners on that district are required to pay an extra assessment that then becomes a budget for street cleaning, winter lights, all the improvements that you see in downtown. Like when you think downtown, like, oh, that street is nice. That would give us the budget along East 125th Street to make serious efforts at street cleaning and serious efforts at all the improvements that we know the community wants to see. So we're into that process. We've got a needs assessment survey that I'm going to put in the chat. If you have an interest in 125th Street or any business there, or if you know any sort of stakeholders are invited to fill out the assessment. We already know what the assessment is going to say, which is that people want more sanitation and they want more security. Like, it's not really rocket science. So we don't have to get a ton of answers to the needs assessment survey, but we welcome input if you like to give it. So I'm going to put those 2 things in the chat, and then I think my report is done. I think I'll be quiet, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Carrie. Wait, so there are a few things in there, and I'm thanking you for everything, you know, whenever you come, always, everything that you do within the community. I don't know how you do it, we all have the same number of hours in a day. And I think you get extra. There's no way that you do everything in a day. So thank you for all that you do. I have a question in regards to the link for the bid. Is that something that you want us to pass around, or do you just want to kind of control that? What are you
I mean,
thinking about that?
It's great. It's great to share it out if you would like. Like I said, it's not with a bid, the people that are going to, that are most intensely involved are the people that are paying
People are
for it.
along, right? Exactly.
Right. So
Right.
the
Yeah.
most important thing is to get the people on 125th. But we welcome other inputs as well if other people want to. But it's not super important to like widely blast it. But since everybody here in this room is involved with economic development and just supporting the neighborhood in general, all of you guys have thought deeply about these issues. So having you guys complete it will be great.
And then one last question for you. In terms of the developments that are coming to 125th Street, how does that impact them as they are coming? Is that something that, kind of like once some of the buildings that are going to be built, once they come, are they going to just automatically have to pay this? Are they having a say, or is it already something that's going to be kind of rolled into their establishment,
If the block and lot it's very defined. It's block and lot, like city tax law, it's like by the block, and you'll see when I put the link like which properties are being included. When they come, they'll pay part of the assessment, and the assessment structure is something we're thinking pretty hard about and pretty deeply, because there's different ways you can form the assessment. One is property frontage, one is commercial square footage, one is assessed value. And you can also do a mix of those, like 20% assessed value, 80% this, that, and the other. And so what we're trying to do is create an assessment structure that that is good for small business, and that is also fair to a lot of the housing that's coming in, thanks to the mayor's plan for affordable housing, is like buildings, mixed use buildings with affordable housing. And the thing that we're learning is a lot of the affordable housing buildings don't generate the same revenue as a market rate building, which means that a lot of the, we're pushing for affordable housing, but at the end of the day, that lowers the assessment that you can get on the building, which then becomes the caretaking for the neighborhood. So it's like,
yeah, it's a mixed bag, right? You're trying to figure out like what the, okay. All right. So that's okay. Just thinking about all the things that are coming and on 125th Street that are not there yet, but also thinking about how they would be able to give back, to this bid too fairly, as opposed to our small businesses. So thank you.
We're thinking deeply.
Yeah. No, thank you for laying that out. Giselle.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Carrie, for your presentation. I agree with Marissa. I think you're getting more hours in the day, so we'll talk about that later. But
you too. Good grief, all of y'all. This is crazy.
I just wanted to add to yesterday's event. If you guys are interested in dropping off anything, codes, canned foods, used or not used things, one of the drop-off locations is Sapoara, so you guys can just go and kind of just either present the stuff to me or Jeff. That's all I wanted to add, but thank you for the presentation and all the information. It was very informative.
Thank you for hosting. I know it's a lot. We're sending a lot of stuff your way. Like,
oh my God, there was so many people.
Oh my God.
Thank you,
I don't know where you're putting customers.
All right.
Thanks, Giselle. Jessica?
Thanks, Marissa, and thank you, Carrie. I've got a question and a heads up for a program related to some of the work that LISC is doing, maybe on a different front that may be of interest to Uptown Grand Central. I think in areas where there are bids and aren't bids, there's a hard line between what street corner gets serviced and what street corner doesn't. I think the kind of potential for your effort to define how the bid is going to operate is in some of those frames of recognizing what does and doesn't work for the particulars in our district. I just want to acknowledge that the intersection, the kind of length of Park Avenue and the future of Park Avenue, which I think Party on Park looks to celebrate in its work at a different point in the year, speaks to a potential that isn't yet built, and speaks to the challenge that you've identified with regard to revenue generating buildings. So I know there's an interesting report. There's all sorts of data. I know you're probably deep into it with the partners that you're working with, both city agencies and other owners and stakeholders in the bid formation process. And SBS is very supportive of small nonprofits in that process, but to consider about how to connect the dots between well-supported areas, such as along 116th Street and along 125th Street, and those the places in between, and how those places can also potentially be supported even when there are hard lines of who pays and who doesn't, how that support can fill in the gaps in some kind of way, where we know that we don't stay within those hard lines. The second point of inquiry, and I'm happy to share the information with you, I just came to know about it, is it's an effort supported by the Ford Foundation in partnership with AIA New York and an organization called Museum Hue for small nonprofits, particularly building Hue spaces, nonprofits that support arts organizations looking to start capital projects, curious about having a space. I think about how vibrant that sort of space is, your plaza. It's not bricks and mortar, it's everything in between. So, whether that's of interest to you or other small nonprofits we're connected with, Marissa, I'll send it to you as well, and Carrie also send you the link. Even if you're not able to be there, I think there's a wealth of information that may be of interest to small nonprofits. When I say small, I mean huge in the work that you do, but small in the scale of people doing the work. So
Thank you so much,
Okay, yes,
Jessica. If you could drop that if you have any information, you could drop it in the chat, because yes, it'll be helpful for us, but there may also be other people on this call who might benefit from that information as well. So if you have the time, as we're talking, to drop it in, that would be very helpful. And thank you for always sharing about other things that are going on even outside of the community that may be helpful for the community. So thank you for that. So we are going to move on, and I think we have, if there aren't any other questions, Carrie, thank you so much for the update always, and we will circulate where needed the assessment for the bid. So thank you. And so next we have Michelle Cruz. We are welcoming back. She's been back though to Union Settlement. We're so happy to have her back in this space that she loves, and happy to have her here at our meeting. So Michelle, thank you for joining us, and you have the floor.
Thank you. Could I share my screen?
Yeah, you should have the share screen at the bottom. Do you see that highlighted in green? If not, Angel, could you allow Michelle to share?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. Okay.
Nothing's coming up.
Do you want to send what
If I
you?
can, I'll send it to you, Marissa, then I'll start, and then you can just share it.
Okay. Or can you, Angel, can you share it? Is that possible?
Sure.
Michelle, can you send it to Angel or me and
Okay.
Angel? Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. We want to make sure we can see it, so it's good.
Okay, I just sent it.
All right. Let's see.
So I can start, Marissa.
Yeah, if
while
you want to just start, yeah, and then we can, once we get it, we can pull it up. No problem.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Union Settlement. And like Marissa mentioned, I'm returning. I was at Union Settlement 3 years ago, and I went to work for the Deputy Speaker as her Deputy Chief of Staff. And I returned in October to work with my partner, Uptown Grand Central. So I'm excited to be back. We also have our new program manager. I think he's on here, Benny Calderon. So you'll get to see him and get to know him in the near future. But I just want to share some changes. There have been some transitioning. I know a lot of information is out there. Pablo, Jackie, Edwin, and Sandy are no longer with Union Settlement. We still love them and connect with them. But so there's just been a lot going on these past few months. And so what we've been trying to do is just think about how this department can be as impactful as possible in the community. And part of that is thinking holistically about economic development and what parts that we can play in the role of stirring economic growth and equitable economic growth. So although our main priority or focus is small business development, we will also get engaged in empowering community, focusing on district marketing to bring traffic or to highlight the gems in the community, and advocacy as well. So just to share what, our focus is just developing ideas and creating opportunities by reimagining and strengthening our existing assets for more equitable common community wealth. And what does that mean? We sort of we know that this community is a very resilient community and a very rich in culture community. And we want to take, instead of sort of trying to reinvent things, like strengthen what's already working, like build relationships, like my relationship with Uptown Grand Central. What are they doing that we can help and enhance? What are the community assets that we can go in and support? So that's our focus. Like, how do we engage the community and make, improve and make things better for a greater impact? And so, our goal is to create long-term self-sustainable growth, right? I think what happens is we're always on the brink of, or small businesses are always in the place where they're struggling. And we want to get to a place where they're flourishing and thriving, and not always struggling with their landlord or struggling with sales. And so how do we do that, right? We focus on empowering the community, creating the space, or not creating a space, but enhancing the space that we have and enhancing the activities that are going on. Continue to develop small businesses. And as I mentioned, continue advocacy work. If you could go to the next page. So I just want to talk about those 4 pillars I mentioned: empowering community, transforming place, small business development, and advocacy. Empowering community, the way we look at it is sort of like, as I mentioned, strengthening our assets, like some of the social networks that we have. How can we work more collaboratively? One of the things that we did when I first came back was we had some funds for holiday activities. And I reached out to Uptown Grand Central, to El Museo de Barrio, and a couple of other nonprofits. And instead of trying to create another event, I said, how could we use this funding to sort of work together with these other groups and highlight the great work that they're already doing? So we got together. I think we spent like 2 months, not even 2 months, a month and a half. And we said, I think the best way to approach this is for us to use that funds in promoting their activities. So that's what we did. So as Carrie mentioned, we paid for trolleys to go around the community that visited the museums, that visited the holiday tree, that visited Carrie's holiday night market and also her skating rink on 124th. And that went really well. We also created this digital map online where we highlighted all the activities going on during the holidays. So from December all the way up to the Three Kings Day Parade. I think it's still up now because we haven't brought it down yet, but it highlighted the landmarks, the parade routes, all the wonderful activities Uptown Grand Central was doing, and Museo del Barrio, just to give people to make sure that we were creating traffic for all these great holiday activities, but also bringing some activity and some sales for our small businesses. Also, we're focusing on workforce development. I'm just going to go through these really quickly. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat and call me as well. So workforce development, community engagement, sometime in March, we're going to, so we have a framework set up. And in March, we're going to create a economic development breakfast forum and then a visioning session to engage the community to hear what they want to see. And then the breakfast forum is really more of, we want to create a panel to sort of share with experts, to sort of share with the community, what are the possibilities, giving them the community some inspiration about what could be, like what does equitable community wealth look like and how do we get there? And also to talk about not only the opportunities, but the barriers to getting there, right? We want to make sure that we're not overly excited and selling people dreams, and then we get to a point we get stuck and then it falls back and we're back at ground zero. So we want to talk about some of those barriers that are there and hopes that, you know, we find some strategies to get through them when we do face them. So transforming place, this is a lot of collaboration with Uptown Grand Central, with El Museo del Barrio, on things that we can do just to make sure that we're drawing traffic and keeping people spending money locally. So whether that's promoting the theater and sponsoring events with our restaurants, with cash mobs, with restaurant crawls, with trolley tours. In the past, trolley tours have been really successful because what we've done is we've taken individuals from anchor institutions who purchase items and actually brought them to the different small businesses on this tour. And after I think about 4 years ago, after our first trolley tour, the small businesses had around 8,000 in sales from that trolley tour. So we think that's something that was really successful, and we want to make sure we do again. The East Harlem Nights, I think some of you have attended. We want to continue to do those and continue to activate spaces that are underutilized in East Harlem. Small business development, as I said, this is, you know, our priority. So we're focusing on technical assistance, access to capital, digital literacy, emergency preparedness, making sure that our small businesses are resilient. So when pandemics and things we found, and Carrie and I worked when the pandemic first started, a lot of our businesses didn't have their financial paperwork in place. So that was a hurdle. A lot of them couldn't switch their platforms to online platforms. So we want to make sure that they're prepared for those kind of things. We also want to focus on, you know, some of our businesses. There are some who are you know, at-home businesses or just starting out. And then there are others that are ready to scale. And we want to make sure that it's not a one size fits all. We want to make sure we're working with each of the different tiers, the different levels, so that we're maximizing on the impact we can have by helping them out. We also want to get back to being intentional with the meetups between small businesses and anchor institutions. We had the meet and greets that were really successful in the past, and we want to continue to do those. We want to make sure that our small businesses are getting the opportunities to sell to bigger companies, bigger, especially our local anchors like Metropolitan and Mount Sinai. And in the past, they have been super helpful. I know that with Metropolitan, we got 3 small businesses who got contracts with them. So we want to continue that relationship and focus on others, like to have the same kind of response from Mount Sinai and maybe Silverman, the School of Social Work. We want to make sure that we're getting as many of our businesses signed up as MWBEs. And then we also want to talk about those businesses that have been here for a while. And we find that some of the small businesses either are ready to retire, but don't have a plan. And we want to make sure that those businesses that have been here for a long time and mean a lot in our community are not just closing down. We want to have some kind of succession plan or create some kind of plan to retire well. And so, this process that, with the visioning session, with the Economic Development Forum, we hope to gain as much insight as possible on how we can move forward, how we can gather as much information as possible. How do we make sure that the community is engaged and we're collaborating to maximize our impact? And we hope that, this process, and also one of the things that was really important is, creating systems and processes that will outlive us so that if, the Marissa or Carrie, myself, if we're no longer here, that what we create still lives on after us. And so, I hope that this process will be a catalyst for a robust ecosystem that secures the foundation for long-term sustainability for our businesses and our community in general. So that's my report, and I thank you, and I look forward to, we have a lot of activities planned for this season, starting in March. So from March to June, I'm going to keep you guys really busy. If you would like to support, if you'd like more information, I'm going to share that with Marissa, and she'll be sharing with the rest of you. So thank you so much.
Michelle, I have to echo, I don't know if you saw in the chat, Carrie said, hooray, we are happy that you are back and just like energized and ready to go. I actually have not met Benny, but I spoke with Eric Parker from SBS earlier today, who says that he's been in contact with you both. So welcome, Benny, also to Union Settlement, and great that everyone has been connected. So I am definitely looking forward to working with you again. And Benny, also looking forward to working with you, and then hopefully, of course, I'll speak with you and Carrie separately, but hopefully you will have just some highlights of things that are to come in March, right? Of things that are coming up for both Union Settlement and then also for Uptown Grand Central that the community just needs to know about on a general form. So my question to you, I guess, at this point is, what can we do as a committee and then also as a board to help support you besides, sharing out the information, which we always do, but what, I guess, like for you, what are some things that you now coming in with fresh eyes back, on the Union Settlement side, what are some things that you feel would be helpful in terms of partnerships and in thinking forward?
I think, the most important is like collaboration, but actually like a think tank, just us getting together and discussing the ways, because we have so much going on, so much good stuff, like all the great things all these organizations are doing. How can we come together to make it better? Like, how can we make it more impactful? So I think, us talking more and, brainstorming more would be extremely helpful for us.
Absolutely. And also just wanted to ping UMez. I'm not sure if Moiram has connected with you or not, but you and Carrie, he is looking to reach out if he hasn't already. So please be on a lookout for communication from him. Giselle, and then Jessica.
Sorry, my mute button was
I was just about to say you're
delayed.
muted.
I just, wanted to say thank you to Michelle as well. All of this sounds amazing. And the part that you mentioned about having being of support to the businesses who are transitioning like into retirement, or even, let's say if a business is interested in selling their business, or, just moving on to something else, working with Union Settlement, it would be good, because if Union Settlement knows people, let's say, who are interested in buying a property or getting into a space or something like that, that can just be like a like a connection. So that's interesting to hear. And just welcome back, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, did you also have your hand up? Okay. Okay, so Michelle, thank you so much. We'll continue to stay in contact, and I'll be speaking with you later on this month, and look forward to having you back.
Thank you.
Okay, so Angel, if we can move forward on the agenda.
My screen is giving me a lot of trouble. The next person is Chelsea from Almost Sale.
Okay, Chelsea, is she on?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Hi. I'm looking at all like the black box, and my screen is set up funny. So go ahead. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you again.
So great to see everyone. So my name is Chelsea. I'm the Government and Community Affairs Manager at El Museo del Barrio. I just wanted to give a quick update on our Three Kings Day event. Thank you to all of you who attended. I got to see a few of you at the celebration. It was really great to connect. But yeah, so as everyone knows, this was the first in-person celebration since 2020. And I think the community was very, very excited for all of the festivities to return to in person, to be back on the streets of oh, the screen came back. To be back in the streets of El Barrio. So we started with our breakfast. We had the distinct honor of welcoming both the governor and the mayor to the celebration. This is the first time that we've ever had a governor attend the celebration, and customarily we've had mayors march in the parade, but this is the first time that we had a mayor actually attend the breakfast and share remarks. So that was very exciting, and it was a great turnout. And specifically for the parade, we had roughly 3,000 participants registered to march, and special thank you to the community board for helping us get the word out there that the celebration was back, as well as Michelle at Union Settlement, everything, partnering with the folks in the East Harlem Holiday Committee to put together that digital map. I think that really helped spread the word and let the community know that everything was returning back to the streets. So thank you for that. And even with our school groups, we had a lot of school groups sign up this year. We had to actually double our amount of school group parade leaders that we have normally for the parade, because we had so many school groups wanting to join, including the MS-57 marching band that we always welcome every year. We love to have the middle school marchers play their instruments. So overall, it started out a little bit rainy in the morning, but it cleared up and it was unseasonably warm. So I think that also played into why so many people decided to come out and march with us. It was very sunny and 50 degrees, I think, by the end of the parade. And you could really just feel the energy and feel the spirit of everyone who was part of the celebration. Everyone was just so excited to be in community and gathering with each other once again. At the end of the parade, we had a hot chocolate station that was set up in front of La Marqueta on 115th Street and Park Avenue. We were really grateful to partner with the Manhattan Borough President's Office, with Deputy Speaker Ayala's office, as well as Ponce Bank and La Marqueta, to have that hot chocolate station at the end of the parade for everyone who had just finished marching and kind of wanted to grab a little free hot chocolate and snack there. So that was really great. And then at the end, to round out all the day's events, we had our post-parade community celebration in the theater. It was our first theater event of the year, and we had a full house. The tickets, of course, were free, as they are every year, but they were completely sold out. We actually had to close the registration a few days early because of how quickly people registered to sign up. So we had a parranda, a Three Kings themed bomba performance, and the entire theater was pretty much full, which is something that we haven't seen since before COVID. So that's exciting to see people just happy to engage and participate in the in-person cultural celebrations as they had been doing previously. That's, you know, it was a wonderful turnout. I think everyone who was there can attest to the fact that it was so exciting to just be back with everyone and celebrating, and I think the community definitely, you know, we've had an overwhelming response, lots of emails and phone calls and text messages from community members who were just thanking us for bringing everything back and for putting this together. It really it was meaningful, and they let us know how meaningful it was for them. So that was wonderful for us to really see the community outpouring after the event. And aside from Three Kings, now we're moving on to the rest of the year. Still working on planning out our calendar of events for 2023, which of course I'll share more updates in the coming months, but just want to let everyone know that our fall exhibitions are still on display in the galleries up until the end of March. And then the galleries will go dark for about a month and a half. And then our new spring exhibition will premiere around mid to late May. So I'll share some more information on that once those details are finalized. And yeah, just want to again thank the community board for helping us be able to bring back this community celebration and bring it back in full force. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you for reporting out. I'm glad that it was a wonderful celebration. There was a lot of coverage on the event. I know several people that were able to attend and said it was amazing. So I'm glad that it was brought back this year, and there was a lot of energy around it. And congratulations on a successful event. So good job. Are there any questions for Chelsea? Okay. Well, you know, please let us know. I appreciate that you've been to the last couple of meetings sharing on what El Museo is doing. So thank you for, you know, just giving us an update on how you guys are moving and what your needs are from a museum perspective. So thank you. Okay, so we are moving on in the agenda. And so Maria Acevedo, are you on? Yes.
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Everyone's on camera that I'm looking for. I don't know why I'm looking at like the black boxes and you're right there. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me, and good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Acevedo. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Hot Break Kitchen.
Oh, you were just muted, Maria.
Oh,
I can hear you now. Okay.
okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. It says I cannot share. Awesome.
Coming. Yep. Okay.
As I was saying, good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Acevedo. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Hot Break Kitchen. Really excited to be here. We have a cohort starting soon, but I'm most excited to be here because Hot Break Kitchen, we were founded in La Marqueta, and our mission is to create economic opportunity for immigrant women and women of color through job skills training, food entrepreneurship program, and an ecosystem of support in New York City. We were founded in 2008. As I mentioned, we started in La Marqueta as a bakery collective. The goal was to bring women of color and immigrant women into the baking world. However, we have expanded since then, and last year we moved to Chelsea Market. And this has enabled us to expand our curriculum, but also increase the capacity of members we are able to support, as well as the number of programs we're able to offer. We are known for our culinary training program, and this is the Fundamentals Culinary Training Program. And in this program, it is a 5-week program covering everything that a person would need entering their first job in the culinary field. Applicants do not have to have experience cooking in the kitchen. The curriculum starts off very basic, emulating the environment. So it's focused a lot on technique, repetition, and volume. From the very beginning, the first week, the chefs start off with basic knife skills, and throughout the 5 weeks, they conduct knife skills challenges, which are very fun to watch. The second week moves on to teaching about savory cooking. And the third week, moving on to basic bakery and pastry production. During the 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks, our members also receive professional skills training from our member engagement team. And our member engagement team is composed of social workers. They conduct topics that are helpful in the work environment, such as allyship at work, and then personal items such as self-care, financial readiness, and then professional readiness in the sense of preparing them to to interview for jobs after the training. So we cover resume prep, creating your personal brand. We conduct mock interviews. We also invite our employer partners to conduct mock interviews, which are great networking opportunities for our members. During the last week, our chefs also conduct a restaurant simulation. And for this task, our members are divided into groups, as teamwork is also a very important skill that that's really important in this environment. They're separated into teams, and each team have to prepare a component of a restaurant meal. And at the end of the simulation, they get to sit down and share this meal with each other to celebrate the end of the training. They also get to take home everything they make during the training. In addition to the culinary training, we also offer a $200 weekly stipend for the first 4 weeks. The last week, we prepare our members to receive the food handler certification exam, which is a certification that never expires. We also provide daily Metro cards for our programs that happen on site. And then at the end of the program, we offer job placement assistance. We try to match it to our members' interests. So if we see that they're mostly interested in bakery, we'll try to place them in with one of our bakery partners. We have placed members in industrial cafeterias such as Google's, in kitchens such as Russ and Daughters, and catering groups such as Union Square Hospitality Group. And we aim to place our members in quality jobs that are over $17 an hour, that offer benefits, and that are within an hour commute from home. So for the requirements for the signature culinary training program, all applicants must be over the age of 18, and identify as a woman, genderqueer, or gender nonconforming, be fully vaccinated against COVID-19, be authorized to work in the United States. This is a requirement of our employer partners. And have a genuine interest in cooking and being in this industry, because at the end, they will be placed into a full-time job. Before the registration day, we conduct kitchen interviews, and this is what we call week zeros. As you can see here, the next cohort starts January 30th. However, interviews start the week before. And during week 0, we invite all the applicants for a kitchen interview on site with our chef. They're given an assignment, and it's a basic assignment such as
using knife skills. They do not have to have kitchen experience, but what we're trying to assess is how well a person is able to follow instruction. Are they able to work in a team? And then there may be applicants who English is not their first language. So we do assess for language. And for individuals who are at an intermediate level, then we do ask that they enroll in the complementary culinary ESOL that takes place after class during the first 4 weeks. And then for individuals who are at a beginner level, we do offer a standalone English class. What's different about this, our English classes, is that they are contextualized with the language and terminology used in the culinary field. And they're designed with lessons to improve reading, speaking, listening, and writing skills. And they're a very small class for individualized attention and learning. So here I've listed the process for applying for the ESOL class. Unlike a culinary training program where we have a kitchen interview, applicants for the standalone English class for the culinary workplace are conduct an assessment with the program manager. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. And after that, that will help them determine what level of proficiency they are, and then they are enrolled in the program. We do find that after enrolling in this class, they may want to continue this path, and then they enroll or transfer to our culinary training program. In addition to ESOL, we also offer digital skills. However, I do not have the dates yet for the spring. We will be announcing those soon. And so for our ESOL and our digital skills training, here are the requirements very similar to our culinary training program. I would like to highlight here that if an applicant does not have a computer for any of our hybrid or remote programs, we do have a laptop lending program, and we provide the laptop for the duration of the training. And then for classes that happen at Chelsea Market, we also provide a MetroCard to travel to and from class. And then lastly, we have our program called SEED for food, aspiring food entrepreneurs. And SEED for small business is a 6-month modular program. And this is self-paced. It is customizable according to the entrepreneur's need. During the program, they will learn about the efforts and risks associated with entrepreneurship. And the goal of this program is for them to have a business plan after completing all of the modules. If a person just has an idea, they're able to start from the very beginning, from getting started. But as you can see here, we cover various topics such as market analysis, sales and marketing, financial planning, and in partnership with the Acceleration Project, bringing it all together in partnership with the Small Business Resource Network, and legal services in partnership with New York Law School and Columbia Law School. The application is the same for all of our programs. In the application, they're able to select the program. For SEED, our applicants are required to attend an information session to determine what module they are able to start. The application, unlike the culinary training and ESOL, they will see, if they are interested in SEED, they will see an option to enroll in the upcoming info session. And so in addition to the free training, if I didn't mention it before, all of our programs are free. Here are some of the benefits of joining Hopper Kitchen. When they're joining Hopper Kitchen, they join a community of women and individuals who support and empower each other Members receive job training and job placement opportunities. They develop professional skills. They receive support services, and they receive connection to referral partners to assist members with food insecurity, housing, mental health support, and other. So I will share the link to our application in the chat after the presentation, but as I mentioned, it is the same application for all of our programs. And then depending on the program, there may be an option to sign up for an info session or just sign up for an interview date. So I covered all of our signature programs at Hot Bread Kitchen. This year, we've partnered with SBS to offer first course at our training kitchen at Chelsea Market. The registration for the January cohort is already closed. However, we will be offering multiple cohorts a year. And what first course is a 14-week apprenticeship program. The first 8 weeks are at Chelsea Market, led by our chefs. And this is 8 weeks of hands-on training. Members who participate in this program also receive a stipend of $355. They receive the chef's jackets and a professional knife kit, as well as one meal a day. After the 8 weeks, members are assigned to a restaurant to continue their 6 weeks of paid on-the-job training at a respected NYC restaurant. So to differentiate both programs, our Culinary Fundamentals program prepares members for entry-level jobs in the culinary industry, whereas First Course strictly prepares members to start a job as a restaurant line cook at a New York City restaurant. And during the 6 weeks, they continue to receive support from the first course team. And then after the entire 14 weeks, they are hired for the restaurant that they were paired with. Another difference is that first course is open to all genders. So this is the only program where we also accept application for men. It's very similar to our culinary program. You must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and be authorized to work in the United States and have an interest in cooking. Unlike our culinary training program, applicants are required to attend a first course information session, and then after attending, they will be sent the link to the application and pre-registration assessment. And these assessments test reaction time, cognitive skills, and then they're also asked to join an observational trail to assess their eligibility for this program. Oh, that's not my name. I will include my email address on the chat. My email is macevedo@hotbreadkitchen.org. And I will write it in the chat. Thank you so much for listening.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you for presenting. I think many of us are familiar with Hot Bread Kitchen as it started in this community. And I know that you guys are now downtown. So just have a few quick questions for you, and then I will open it up to our committee for other questions. I did not see on any of the slides anything regarding any prior. So are you open to anyone who has been incarcerated previously, or is there any barriers to individuals working with previous records? Where do you stand on that?
We do not have a requirement against the only requirement for first course, not against formerly incarcerated, but if required, applicants must be registered for selective service if they're signing up for first course.
And then I just wanted to know, in terms of some of the restaurants and places where people are placed, is there any connection to this community anymore? Like, is there any, are they placed in any of our restaurants, or is there any direct connection to the East Harlem community? Is really
Yes,
my
so we are always trying to increase the number of employer partners, as we serve a population that for some childcare may be an issue, and they really want to stay close to home. So if there are any restaurant partners or any employers that would love to be part of our employer network, we would love to connect with them, and so that we can start that partnership.
okay. That's great to hear. Just wanting to know, again, how can the community here kind of tie in and then benefit from, some of the work that you guys are doing, and bring it back to kind of like where everything started. Then my last question for you is, oh, actually, I'm sorry, two more. Stipends paid at the end or during the sessions?
Um, for for both culinary programs, they're paid on a weekly basis.
Okay.
But during registration day, we will ask members to bring in their direct deposit information so that they're able to receive the stipend every week.
Okay, got it. And then, if you wouldn't mind, if you have a one pager on this, we have a weekly email blast that goes out, and I'm sure Angel would be able to share the information about the upcoming session. I believe you said it starts January 30th.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
I can share the flyer with you.
okay, that would be amazing, and then we can share out. Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you for sharing, Giselle.
Thank you, Maria, for your presentation. I have one question. Let's say, a restaurant has staff members who are interested in this program. Because you guys find the jobs for them at the end of the course, but say they already have a job at a restaurant, they just want to further their education through this program. Is that allowed? Like, are they still allowed to participate?
Giselle, that is a great question. I might have to get back to you. But the training is specifically designed for individuals who are looking for employment. It takes place Monday through Friday from 10 to 3 p.m. So it's a question of the personal availability, but I also have to follow up to I don't want to give you an incorrect answer on that.
Sure, that's not a problem. Thank you, Maria.
Carrie?
Yes, and Maria, thank you for the presentation. My question is, in terms of businesses that you're looking to place folks in, are you looking for, like restaurants where you get a three-course meal? Like, is there certain size of kitchen you would need to have? A lot of the businesses in East Harlem, I'm sure, would love to have people. We have a lot of counter service, that kind of thing, but is there like an ideal placement in terms of where you're looking?
Not in terms of size. We've actually had members who were part of the small business program and then have hired members who were part of our culinary fundamentals program. So there's not a requirement on size, but there must be like a list of the roles that they're looking to cover. So ideally positions that are in the kitchen, where they will put to practice what they've learned in the class.
That's great. And part B, sorry. And then like in terms of, is there like a requirement for what the restaurant would need to pay per hour?
Yes, they must pay above minimum wage, but our average wage is about 17, over 17.
Okay, that's
Yes.
great. That just helps us know. Thank you.
Carrie, and Maria, also wondering too, I know you said that there may be people coming into the program who don't want to be far from home. And so I'm wondering about a way that maybe once you have people come in, if they say, look, I live within this zip code, right? And if you have any restaurants within this zip code, then I would love to work there, right? And so that might be a way for you guys to kind of curate, what might be in certain areas or where people will work, based off of something that they're looking for as well, if that's an option. So,
Yeah, that's a really great idea.
okay. So I'm not seeing, okay, Jessica Morris, quickly, if you don't mind. Mhm.
Sure. My apologies, Marissa. Thank you very much. Uh, it may be an inappropriate time to circle back. I apologize. I wasn't available at the last presentation. Is it okay to make a comment now, or would you rather table it?
On
It's a
Hot Bread
comment for
Kitchen?
no, not on Hot Bread Kitchen.
Okay, let's circle back if you don't mind, because I just wanted to point out one thing in regards to the cannabis conversation. So we can circle back after that conversation if you don't mind. But Maria, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you for coming. We hope to get some sort of partnership or get some workings back in the community with Hot Bread Kitchen, and we will look out for the flyer as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to open the floor quickly to Giselle and Stephanie if there's anything that they want to add quickly about the cannabis conversation. If we could table that. I see Angel, the next thing on the agenda. I just wanted to see if we could also just get a quick conversation in about the cannabis informational session. Giselle or Stephanie, is there anything that you just want to say briefly about that, or?
I guess I can speak to it. So there was a meeting with executive board members, community board members, and the commissioner or executive director, Chris Alexander from the OCM. The biggest component to this is that we will not be meeting with perspective. So wait, actually, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. All the smoke shops that are open right now are not regulated. There's only one that is regulated, which is the one Housing Works that is downtown on Broadway. There are none that are open up that are now in selling are regulated, and there is no process. They're not trying to use too much enforcement. The enforcement that they're using is to confiscate and to educate and fine them, but the fining process hasn't been regulated as of yet. They will be doing a formal presentation to us as a full board. They're working on that with Xavier. They just met with us and answered a few of our questions. One of the questions being, how do we make sure that the marijuana that they're using or the cannabis that they're using is safe? Again, if it's regulated, which there's only one, they will only be allowed to sell regulated weed that is grown here in New York. And then the biggest component to how the community board will work with licensees is that licensees will already have a license when they come to meet with us. They will just meet with us with perspective to having an interest to opening up a dispensary in our district, or actually already having a space located. Therefore, when they come to meet us, there'll be either two types of applicants: an applicant who actually has an address, or someone who has just an interest in the area.
Quickly, sorry, Stephanie, quickly. So that means that when they come, they already have
their license.
They already kind of have what they need. They're really just coming to us for retail space.
Correct. Correct. And we're advisory. So we don't dictate if they will be allowed to open or not. We're just an advisory board for them. However, Chris Alexander did say that he is taking into serious consideration the community board's advice on continuing with the license of the applicant. So there are regulations that are still being managed, which they are still taking comments until February 13th. I shared with you guys the link where you can see the regulations. I'll share it also in the chat. But this is the only opportunity we'll have where we can make it known what we would like.
Mhm. Are there existing, and I'm not sure of this. I think I heard this, but I'm not sure. Are there existing parameters in which they can operate? So, like let's say if they wanted to set up a shop across the street from a school,
They
doesn't
have to
matter.
be,
They have to be. Go ahead.
yeah, that's correct, Marissa. They have to be, I don't know if I put that in my notes, but they definitely have to be at least 500 feet from a school and 200 feet from a worship church.
Okay. All right, Giselle, do you want to add?
Yes, I was there also in attendance. Stephanie, do you remember, because do you remember if he said that, like, let's just say if one of these smoke shops that, legally have their license open up, if there are somewhat, problems coming out or something that happens to be happening like frequently in other smoke shops and people are coming to the board, we had asked him, like, at that point, we're kind of the intermediate between the business and the people who are having, the residents who are having the problem. And he did say, correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie, that like we can let OCM know about that. And then sometimes in some cases, if let's say it's a problem that's really, really affecting or getting out of hand, they can kind of just either slow down or completely stop applications from opening up. I mean, retailers from opening up in a specific area. Is that what he said, Steph? Just
Yeah, he did say, yeah, he would take into consideration if there are issues with licensees, that they would look into making them small. But there's only 22 applicants right now within Manhattan. So there's only 150 completely throughout all of New York State, and in Manhattan there's only 22. There's the one, like I said, that we all know that's downtown, and the one that we've heard of that may still be opening across the street from Apollo. Right. So those are the only ones. He did say that he did not have any belief that there'd be any more in East Harlem, at least to his knowledge at this time. That is
Or any more legal ones.
correct. Any more regulated ones, correct.
Yeah, regulated.
And the ones that aren't regulated, right? He did say to also let OCM know, because that's how they can find them, confiscate them, and also that puts them in a criteria where they can't apply later to be legal, because they were asked to cease and desist before regulations were in.
Okay, I also want to recognize, I know Pilar had dropped some information in the chat in regards to this, and I know that she has been working in this space. So also thank you, Pilar, for the information that you've provided in regards to the cannabis space for the city. So Xavier, Giselle, did you have your hand up again, or was that an old hand?
no, it was a whole old hand. I'll bring it down.
No problem. Xavier?
Good evening, everyone. Real quick, yeah, thank you for attending, Steph, Giselle. We had Adem, Isaac, Khalid, our ADM was there. To clarify a few things, and I appreciate the very copious notes. Thank you so much, Stephanie. There was an episode here in this community where edibles were sold to underage children, middle school. He was very emphatic that he needs to know any outfit, any storefront that does that, because they will not only make sure that they're shut down, but he said, we'll make sure they don't get a license. He says that's not acceptable. Anything to do with underage distribution is not acceptable. The other thing that they mentioned when we pushed back politely about why are they not coming to us before they have a storefront, they said that oftentimes they're still trying to work out where they can actually find space that will meet the needs of both the community, the regulations, and the neighborhood preferences, which is why they found it to adopt a different model from the SLA model, so that way it would be easier to find a space versus finding the space and then signing a contract and then not being procured a license. So he said they're trying this model first, and that they will adapt if they find it not to be working in a way that is supportive to both the community and the businesses coming in. So that was one of the explanations. So again, we're going to discuss this at executive, and I appreciate everyone from the board who attended. So thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. Okay, so thank you, Stephanie, and Giselle specifically, just for being able to report back for our committee, and providing information so that everyone is aware of what's going on. And this is all still being built out. Thank you, Pilar. I know you are on as well for your service in this area, and we will continue to talk about this as new developments arise. So I know on our agenda, the next item, I think we are going to table this for next month due to the time at this hour. But we will be presenting on, some of the things that we've done to date in terms of helping the community and partnerships and development, and then talk about some of the things that we look to do in this current year, 2023. If there are any, ideas or suggestions that you have, ways that we can, either better partner, things that you would like to see within the community that we can all accomplish by the end of this fiscal year, I would love to hear about that. And then additionally, there are, a couple of people that are working on projects outside of here. So I know Jennifer Meyer is serving on the task force. I'm not sure if there's any update on that. And then Jenny, I know last year we had kind of talked about making a document where we are following up with certain organizations that present. I don't know if we've been on it as much this year, but maybe that's something that we could start to continue to build out on for some of the people that present at our meetings monthly, just to follow up on things that either they've promised and or things that we feel like they should develop in order to work better with our community. Are there any questions? If not, we are going to move forward and adjourn for this evening. Any old business? Okay, any new business? Okay, all right. Angel, if you could call the roll, and then we will adjourn for this evening.
Sure. Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. Stephanie Arroyo.
Present.
April Autry.
Present.
Adem Breha.
Present.
Devin Cronshaw.
Present.
Jill Jones.
Present.
Marissa Mack.
Present.
Giselle Malave.
Present.
Jennifer Meyer.
Present.
Jessica Morris.
Present.
Robert Perez. Eugene Rodriguez. Vinnie Torres. Jenny Tromsky.
Present.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good evening, and I'll see you at full board. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Bye.